Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Matthew and Rachel Radio English. I'm Matthew.
And I'm Rachel. We are so excited to finally be here. We have been planning this project for months, and today is officially day one.
That's right, day one of a new journey. We created this podcast because we know there are thousands of you out there who have studied English for years, but still don't feel ready to speak.
Exactly. We want to be the bridge between your textbooks and the real world. And Matthew, for this grand opening, we chose a topic that I think, well, it scares everyone.
The passive trap. It sounds dangerous.
It is. It's that frustration of understanding everything but saying nothing.
You know, Rachel, I have to make a confession right now in front of our new audience.
A confession on the first episode? Okay, I'm listening.
Even though I am a language teacher, I have been a victim of the passive trap myself.
Really? You? But you speak different languages.
I try to, but let me take you back to 2 years ago. I was in Paris. Now remember, I had studied French for 3 years at university. I could read novels, I could watch French movies with subtitles. I felt confident.
Okay, so you were prepared. Your input was high.
I thought I was prepared. So I walked into this beautiful little bakery, a boulangerie. It smelled amazing, fresh bread everywhere. The lady behind the counter looked at me and asked very quickly, "Bonjour, monsieur, qu'est-ce que vous désirez?" Which means, "Hello, sir, what would you like?"
And you understood her?
Perfectly. My brain translated immediately. She is asking what I want. And I knew exactly what I wanted. Un croissant, s'il vous plaît. Simple, right?
Super simple. Basic French.
But then, panic. I opened my mouth and nothing came out. My brain froze. I knew the word croissant, I knew the word please, but I couldn't push the words out. I was standing there, sweating, thinking, come on, Matthew, say it. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Oh, I hate that feeling. When you know the word, it's right there on the tip of your tongue, but your mouth refuses to move. So, what did you do?
I did the shameful thing. I just pointed at the bread and made a weird noise like, that one.
No, you pointed after 3 years of studying?
I pointed. It was tragic. I walked out eating my croissant, but I felt terrible. I felt like a fraud.
Well, Matthew, you weren't a fraud. You were just stuck in the passive trap. You had a giant library in your head, but zero gym time.
Exactly. And that is what we are going to fix today. So let's dig into that analogy a bit deeper. The library versus the gym. Because I think this is where 99% of English learners get it wrong.
Totally. And it's not really their fault, right? It's how we're taught in school.
Exactly. Think about your brain like a library. For years, you've been collecting books, grammar books, vocabulary lists, flashcards. You're storing information. And that feels good. It feels like you're learning.
Right. You understand the rules, you pass the exams, you feel safe in the library. It's quiet there.
But here's the problem. Speaking is a physical sport. It's not an intellectual activity. It's a motor skill. It's like a muscle. You can't get strong muscles just by reading a book about weightlifting. You actually have to go to the gym and lift the heavy things.
I love that. You can read every book about swimming, but if you jump in the pool and you've never moved your arms, you're going to drown.
Ideally not drown, but yeah, you're going to sink. And that's what happened to me in the bakery in Paris. My library was full of French words, but my mouth muscles were weak. I had never actually connected the brain to the mouth.
So that's the mechanical problem, input versus output. But Matthew, I think there's something else, something psychological.
Go on.
I call it the perfectionism virus.
Ooh, that sounds nasty. What are the symptoms?
It's very common. The symptom is, it's this idea that if I can't say the sentence perfectly, with zero grammar mistakes and perfect accent, then I won't say anything at all.
Yes, it's the fear of sounding stupid.
Exactly. You have this editor in your head. Someone asks you a question, and instead of just answering, you start writing the script in your mind. You're checking the verbs, you're looking for the preposition.
And by the time you finish editing the sentence in your head, the conversation is already over.
Gone. You miss the moment.
That is paralysis by analysis. And honestly, native speakers don't do that. We make mistakes all the time. We use gonna, we cut words, we restart sentences.
We do. I mean, half the time I don't even finish my sentences. But learners treat every conversation like it's a final exam. That pressure, it locks your jaw, it freezes you up.
So we have a weak muscle, no gym time, and a mental block, the perfectionism virus. That is a deadly combination.
It is. But the good news is you can cure the virus and you can build the muscle. You just need to change how you practice. You need to stop collecting words and start using them.
Right. And speaking of using words, Rachel, while we were chatting just now, I noticed you used a couple of phrases that are actually really interesting.
Did I? I was just talking.
You were, but that's the best way to learn. I want to pause the conversation right here and put a couple of those phrases under the microscope. Because if our listeners want to sound natural, they need to master these little details.
Wait. Stop. Matthew, hold on a second.
What? What happened? Did I say something wrong?
No, you said something perfect. In your story about Paris, you used a phrase that I think is crucial for our listeners. You said, I tried to speak, but I ended up freezing.
Ah, right. I ended up freezing.
Let's put that under the microscope. Why did you use ended up? Why didn't you just say, I finally froze?
That is a great question. You see, if I say I finally froze, it sounds like that was my plan, like I wanted to freeze.
Exactly. Finally sounds like a goal you achieved.
Right. But end up is special. We use it to describe the final result of a situation, usually when it was not planned or unexpected.
So your plan was to buy a croissant like a gentleman.
But the unplanned result was that I ended up pointing like a baby.
Got it. This phrasal verb is super common in native English. End up. Let's give our listeners 3 quick examples so they can feel how it works.
Okay, example number 1. Imagine you plan to go to a fancy restaurant, but it's closed. So you go to McDonald's instead. You would say,
We planned to have dinner out, but we ended up eating fast food.
perfect. Notice the verb after end up is always with ing. Ended up eating.
Example number 2. You study law at university for 5 years, but you hate being a lawyer, so you become a YouTuber.
He studied law, but he ended up becoming a YouTuber.
Exactly. Unplanned result. Now for the third one, we want you to try it.
We are going to say a sentence, and we want you to repeat it aloud. Wherever you are, in the car, in the shower, speak up.
Okay, here is the phrase. Listen to the connection. Ended up. It sounds like one word. Ended up.
Repeat after me. I didn't want to go, but I ended up having fun.
One more time, faster. I ended up having fun.
Excellent. Remember, don't just store this in your library. Use it in the gym. Next time your plans change, use end up. Okay, so we analyzed a phrase, but how do you actually fix the passive trap for good? How do you build that muscle we talked about?
The answer is a technique called shadowing, or as I like to call it, the copycat method.
Shadowing is simple, but it's powerful. It means you don't just listen to English, you imitate it. You become an actor. You copy the speed, the emotion, and the melody.
Most students read out loud, but they use their native brain to pronounce the words. That's why they sound robotic.
Exactly. Let's do a live demonstration. I'm going to be the native speaker, and Rachel, I want you to be the student.
Okay, I'm ready. I'll put on my student hat. Give me a difficult sentence.
All right. This is a classic grammar nightmare, the third conditional. Listen to me carefully. I would have called you if I had known.
I would have called you if I had known.
Stop right there.
What? I said the words perfectly. I would have.
Grammatically, yes, but acoustically, no. That was way too choppy. That is why you freeze in conversations, because you are treating words like bricks. You need to treat them like water. They flow.
Okay, teach me. How do I make it flow?
Listen to the music. We don't say I would have. We squash it together. I woulda.
I woulda.
Good. And we don't say called you. The D and the Y mixed together, it sounds like called ya.
Called ya.
Yes, now put it together. Listen to the rhythm. I woulda called ya if I'd known.
I woulda called ya if I'd known.
Boom! That was it. Did you feel the difference?
Totally. It felt faster. I didn't have time to think about grammar rules. I just copied the sound.
That is shadowing. You are bypassing the logical brain, the library, and going straight to the muscle, the gym.
So, here is the secret for our listeners. When you watch Netflix or when you listen to this podcast, pause the audio. And don't just repeat the words, copy the music. If we scream, you scream. If we whisper, you whisper.
If you do this for 5 minutes a day, I promise you, the passive trap will disappear.
All right, it is time for our Q&A segment. Even though this is our first episode, I want to bring up a question that I see everywhere on the internet. It seems like everyone is debating this.
I love a good debate. What is the internet confused about today?
It is the classic Netflix dilemma. I see this in forums and comments all the time. People ask, I watch a lot of Netflix, but I always use subtitles in Spanish. Is it okay, or should I turn them off?
Ooh, that old question.
I knew you would react like that. Be nice, Matthew. It's a valid doubt.
It is valid, but my answer might be a bit controversial. Are you ready for the hard truth?
Give it to us.
If you are watching Netflix with subtitles in Spanish, you are not learning English. You are practicing reading Spanish.
Whoa, that is harsh. Not learning English? Isn't that a bit extreme?
Hear me out. The human brain is efficient, which is a nice way of saying it's lazy. If you have audio in English, which is hard, and text in Spanish, which is easy, your brain will always choose the easy path. You think you are listening, but you're actually just reading the subtitles and ignoring the audio.
Okay, I see your point. It's like riding a bike with training wheels. You feel like you're riding, but the wheels are doing all the work.
Exactly. So if you want to escape the passive trap, you have to take the training wheels off. My advice, turn them off completely.
Okay, hold on. I have to play devil's advocate here. If someone turns off the subtitles completely and they watch Oppenheimer or Peaky Blinders, they are going to understand absolutely zero. They're going to get frustrated and quit.
That is a fair point. Peaky Blinders is hard even for me. Okay, so let's find a middle ground. What do you suggest, Rachel?
I usually recommend the English-only rule.
Okay, explain that.
If you need subtitles, that's fine, but they must be in English, never in your native language.
I can accept that. Why?
Because when you read in English and listen in English at the same time, you are connecting the sound to the spelling. It helps you realize, oh, that sounds like gonna, but it's spelled going to.
Right. It's like karaoke.
Yes, it's the karaoke effect. It's much better than translation. But Matthew, there is a danger with English subtitles too, right?
There is. You can still become dependent on them. I call it being subtitle addicted. I see people who can't understand a simple hello without reading it on the screen.
So here is the challenge. Maybe try the sandwich method.
The sandwich method? Is that another food metaphor, Rachel? I'm getting hungry.
It's a treat for your brain. It's very simple. You take a short scene, maybe 5 minutes of a show you like, and you watch it 3 times.
3 times? Isn't that a bit repetitive?
That's the point. Here's the sandwich. First, watch a 5-minute scene with English subtitles to get the context. Then, turn them off to force your brain to listen. Finally, turn them back on to catch what you missed. It's the perfect bridge to stop being subtitle addicted.
Ah, I see. So the meat of the sandwich is the hard part, the part where you're listening without help, but it's protected by the layers of subtitles.
Exactly. It prevents that frustration wall you mentioned earlier. You're training your ear, but you're not left totally in the dark.
Well, we made it. We survived our first episode.
We did. And hopefully our listeners are ready to survive their next conversation.
Before we go, let's do a super quick recap. If you remember only one thing from today, remember this. Stop building a library and start going to the gym.
Exactly. Input is good, but output is what makes you fluent. Don't just read words, speak them. Use the shadowing technique we practiced.
And we are not letting you go without homework.
Never. We want you to take action right now. Go to the comments section below and write one sentence using the phrasal verb was learned today, and up.
Tell us about a time your plans changed. Did you end up going somewhere else? Did you end up eating something weird?
Write it down. Matthew and I will be reading the comments and correcting your sentences personally.
Thank you so much for tuning in to our grand opening.
Keep listening, keep shadowing, and keep speaking.
This is Matthew.
And Rachel.
Over and out.